dance of the Lord rise. Let the dance of the Lord rise. Let the praises of our King rise. Let it rise. We lift our voice and cry out, oh, let it rise. Yeah, we cry out, oh, yeah, let it rise. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, let the dance of the Lord rise. Let the dance of the Lord rise. Let the praises of our King rise. Come on, last time. We cry out, oh, let it rise. We cry out, oh, let it rise. Oh, let it. Oh, let the song of the Lord rise. Let the song of the Lord rise. Let the praises of our King rise. Yeah, let the song of the Lord rise. Let the song of the Lord rise. Let the praises of our King let it rise. We cry out, oh, oh, let it rise. Come on, last time right here. Oh, we cry out, oh, oh, let it rise.
Thank you, praise team, for reminding us that this is the season for us to rise. Rise to engagement, rise to optimism, rise to making a difference in our county. Good afternoon, Howard County. My name is Reverend Robert Turner, and I am the senior pastor here at St. John Baptist Church, and we have a few housekeeping items. Number one, I just want to point to the 3 exit doors, one to my far right, one to my far left, and 2 right in the center. In the event of an emergency or if you have to leave the sanctuary, those are the exit routes. Second, if you have a cell phone, if you brought a cell phone this afternoon, here's what I need you to do. I need you to pull out your cell phone and I need you to silence the volume. You can put it on vibrate or you can turn it off. If you just want to take pictures, just make sure that your ringer is silenced so that it will not be a distraction or a disruption during our afternoon program. Is anybody here who came to experience an exciting candidate's political action this afternoon? We're excited to have each and every one of you, and now I'm going to pass the mic to Chuck.
Thank you. Thank you. My name's Chuck Koplik. I chair the Jewish Federation of Howard County. This is a proud member of People Acting Together in Howard. I serve on the PATH board and member of the transition team for the Just Maryland Just Power Alliance. So, welcome, everyone. 2006 is PATH's 20th anniversary. All right? 20 years of organized people power across race, class, and faith to address systemic issues in people's lives. And we have won hundreds of environmental jobs for young adults. We have won a commitment of 900 units of affordable housing in downtown Columba. We have won protections for over 10,000 mobile homeowners, among many other victories, and I won't take the next 2 hours to go over those. But whether this is your first or your 50th PATH action, we are so glad to have you with us.
PATH and its sister organizations make up the Maryland Just Power Alliance, and we will become one statewide organization this year to win more locally and across Maryland. And that's a reason to celebrate right there. This event has 3 parts. In the first section, we'll hear about past priority areas and stories from our listening campaign. In the second section, we'll divide into council district rooms and hear from the county council candidates. And finally, we'll return to the sanctuary to hear from the candidates for county executive and close with a call to action. This fall and winter, PATH engaged in deep conversation with 700 people in Howard County and over 3,000 people statewide. And that's a reason to celebrate right there. From these listening sessions, we identified 6 priorities affecting people's day-to-day lives, and they were: number 1, housing; number 2, immigration; number 3, youth; number 4, healthcare; number 5, food insecurity; and number 6, fighting cruelty and hate. Clergy and faith leaders will now share our vision and purpose today as a form of opening prayer. We invite faith leaders present who wish to stand with this statement to join us on stage at this time.
Good afternoon, PATH. In case you didn't hear Reverend Turner, if you're a clergy person or other faith leader in your religious community and would like to be visible up here as we share a statement of solidarity, please come on and join us on the platform now. You can make your way up here while Nazish and I introduce ourselves. My name is Paige Getty, and I'm a Unitarian Universalist minister and a part of the Howard County Clergy Alliance. I'm honored to be here with you and with this group of faith leaders representing many different congregations and religious traditions in Howard County.
Good afternoon and welcome. My name is Nazish Mataiwala. I'm a member of the Dar al-Taqwa Muslim community, and I'm also part of the Howard County Clergy Alliance.
PATH is not a religious organization, and yet PATH is an organization of faith.
Within this gathering are people of many traditions and perspectives: Muslim, atheist, pagan, Jewish, Baha'i, Latter-day Saint, Unitarian Universalist, Catholic, Quaker, Baptist, Presbyterian, Methodist, and those who identify with several other traditions or with none at all. Though our beliefs and religious identities differ, we share a common belief. A belief in what is possible when we come together and use our collective power for the good of our communities.
And we act in faith when we show up, like today, over and over again to demonstrate with our words and our bodies that our votes, that our Howard County will be a place where immigrants are welcome and safe and thriving, where anyone who wants to live and work in this county can afford to do so, where our youth have the educational and mental health resources they need for their best learning and growth, where everyone has access to adequate health care, where no one goes hungry, where Muslim and Jewish residents and their houses of prayer are safe from violence and where those communities are celebrated as valued members of our community. Howard County can be a place where we acknowledge the realities of racism and oppression and actively work to dismantle the systems of marginalization that exist in our schools and in our government. And this will be a place where political rhetoric does not weaponize religious identity and pit residents' differences against one another.
In our listening sessions over the past few months, we've heard from residents who live with worry and fear about all of these things. And over again, we heard the despair in those who are so weary of the ways that cruelty and hate are festering in online forums, in rhetoric from elected officials, in the behavior of law enforcement, among students in schools, and in our neighborhoods.
And so we gather today, unified across differences of religious tradition, to say that we believe a different way is possible. We believe that Howard County can be the community that we dream about, thriving in its diversity, safe for families of any race and of all religious identities, where we show up and care for one another, where we will show up in solidarity and work against discrimination on the basis of otherness, including but not limited to anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, racism, and anti-immigrant sentiment.
We are people of faith, and we are realists. We know that reality doesn't match our aspirations, but with courage and commitment, we can be change makers. No one person or institution can do it alone.
So we are here today to demonstrate PATH's commitment to nurturing this vision and to ask all the candidates for elected office to join in nurturing that vision with us. As the Reverend Julian Soto wrote, all of us need all of us to make it.
Now we want to thank County Executive Calvin Ball for his recent leadership. Last month, County Executive Ball acted with the County Council to stop an office building in Elkridge, Maryland from becoming an ICE detention center. And together, Dr. Ball and the County Council banned future private detention centers of all kinds. Threats threats and challenges around immigration continue, and we thank you, Dr. Ball. We thank you, County Council members, for your leadership during these challenging times. Let's congratulate and let's celebrate the action that was taken. And then Dr. Ball said, well, I'm just getting started, because important legislation was filed this week to strengthen the Housing Opportunity Trust Fund. And if this legislation and later ballot referendum are successful, it will substantially increase mixed income housing units, providing much needed housing for people our communities rely on. I'm talking about people like teachers, people like child care workers, and people like service workers. And so, County Executive Ball, please accept our heartfelt appreciation as we celebrate the outstanding leadership you are providing at this time. Now we're going to ask Dr. Ball to come, and he's going to share reflections for 2 minutes.
I think the most important part was the 2-minute part. When I look across this room and the breadth of faith traditions gathered, I'm reminded of what unites us. Every faith community represented today teaches us the same fundamental truths, that every human being deserves dignity and love. And how we treat the most vulnerable of us defines us. That is PATH's mission, and it is mine as I also celebrate 20 years as an elected. When housing costs freeze families out of this county, PATH stands for them. When our immigrant neighbors live in fear, PATH stands for them. And when residents are skipping meals and stretching prescriptions to make ends meet, PATH stands for them. That is what a community in action sounds like. When the threat of private immigration detention facilities became real in our county, PATH stood with us. Diversity is our strength, and that same spirit drives our work in housing. And just this week, PATH again stood with us as we talked about expanding and improving our Housing Opportunities Trust Fund. None of this happens without you, and when our faith leaders speak with one voice as a chorus, that voice is beautiful. And while there's more work ahead, I am hopeful as I look across this crowd, and I am hopeful with so many of our candidates who will take on the next baton and lead with love. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Before Chuck comes back to the podium, there are 3 cars that need a driver's attention. First, there is a green Subaru, Maryland plate 7ET. I believe this is 2776. Green Subaru, your car is in need of movement at this time. Next, there is a black Toyota, Maryland plate 0944, D as in David, B as in boy. Please, if you heard your license plate mentioned, this is a good time to stand and go to the parking lot. Last, a gray Honda, Maryland license plate 9GL8042. If you heard your license plate for a green Subaru, black Toyota, gray Honda, we invite you to move it at this time. because we don't want to move it for you. And so if your car's license plate was mentioned, please expeditiously make your way to the parking lot, and our parking lot attendants will direct you as you come.
So in PATH and the Maryland Just Power Alliance, we build organized people power by building relationships with each other and identifying common interests. Please look around you where you are seated for someone you do not know. Given that these are pews, you may be in a group of people you do know, but do the best you can. But look for someone else, introduce yourself, and share which part of this shared vision, which I believe is right up there on the screen right now. There it is. There are our PATH's priorities from our huge listening sessions across the county. Introduce yourself and share what part of this shared vision moves you and why, and each of you do that in a minute and a half each. So go for it. And amazing as it may seem, you have 1 minute to go. 1 minute to go. If you haven't switched, switch. 1 minute to go.
We want to thank everyone for your engagement. We want to thank everyone for your conversations. We want to thank everyone in advance for refocusing from your neighbor to the platform. We thank everyone for your conversations about the different priorities. And we thank everyone for lowering your voices. And we thank everyone for assisting us in this transition. Let's celebrate one more time for the conversations and for the new people that you may have met during that conversation. Now, I want to start by giving all of us giving a round of applause for everyone who is at a PATH event for the very first time. Let's celebrate. Would you raise your hand if this is your very first time at a PATH event? Well, you picked the right time to come and be engaged today. We also want to recognize those who support us financially, including our member congregations, our individual donors, the Horizon Foundation, Presbyterian Hunger Program, and the Energy Foundation. We also want to thank the candidates and elected officials who are here with us today. All of the candidates for County Council, please stand up and wave at this time. Now, if there are any elected officials or candidates who we have not named, please stand and be recognized at this time. If any elected official or candidates I'm going to say something about it. We also appreciate volunteers and attendees from the African American Community Roundtable. And if you are a member, please stand. We also want to recognize Ben Schmidt, the president of the Howard County Education Association. We're now going to bring Chuck back to the podium, and he's going to share a word about accountability.
So, accountability, it's a cornerstone of our work, and we want to build power and change that we can count. PATH committed to having 340 people here today, and institutions committed to bringing a specific number of people each. We will now hold our roll call. So we will hear who promised what and what turned out. If you haven't already, please send a representative from your organization to the mics. That we have one here and we have one on the other side. And now we will do the roll call.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tina Horn. I'm with the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Columbia. My pronouns are she and her. We committed to 40 people. We brought 43.
I'm from St. John United. We committed to bringing 10, and we brought 19.
I'm from Channing Memorial Church, Unitarian Universalist. We committed to bringing 10, and we brought 13.
I'm Erin Camp Marshall from Patapsco Friends Meeting. We committed to bring 21. We brought 35.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Linda Lampert-Leslie from beautiful, tiny Kittamukundi community. Somebody said we would bring 20 people. I have a hard time counting that high, but I got that high, so thank you, everyone. 20 people.
I'm with the Jewish Federation of Howard County. We committed to bring 54 people, and we brought 54 people.
My name is Carrie Britt, and I'm with First Baptist Church of Guilford. We committed to 50, and we brought at least 83.
Hello, my name is Shanice, and I'm with Nate, and we committed to 10, but we brought 18.
Hello, my name is Alma Reyes. We are from St. John the Evangelist Church in Columbia. We committed to 40 people, and we are 40.
Charles Howell from St. John Baptist Church. We committed to 40 and we brought 65.
Good afternoon. I am Melody Johnson Morales. I am the first vice president of Iota Lambda Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. We have about 15 or maybe more.
We just have a count. We have 455 people here. We will now hear personal stories connected to some of the major themes we heard in our recent listening sessions. And we will start with Reverend Derek Miller.
Good afternoon. I'm Derek and I'm 40 years old. And in my denomination, that makes me a young clergy person. But my wife and I feel sometimes even younger than that because we face pressures bearing down on generations younger than ourselves in our own county. We both have postgraduate education and we both serve here in our community. My wife is a speech language pathologist working for Howard County Schools with special needs students. And we were told that if we worked hard, that if we did the right things, that if we got the degrees, that we would find stability and we would find purpose. Well, we have plenty of purpose, but we've struggled to find stability. We were able to briefly live in this county when a church I worked for provided housing for us. We knew this would be temporary, and we tried to purchase a modest home here in our county. We were outbid multiple times, way over asking, way over what we knew we could afford, and we looked for a very, very long time. We tried, but we cannot afford to live in the county that we love and serve. And I know we're not alone. Families like ours have been burdened by debt. We've been priced out of housing. Even if we have financial help from our families, we're working in an economy that feels unstable and unforgiving. And Howard County is full of young people struggling to achieve stable work and independent housing. And many are also facing deep mental health crises as a result. Much of my time and energy as a pastor is filled with walking with people, young people, through these layered crises. And it's not getting better or easier. Some people my age and younger have given up on institutions like churches. They've given up on believing in government and what it can do for us. And if I'm honest, there are days when I really feel like I want to give up too. Our institutions and our society at large, it can feel unresponsive, unsafe, and often just plain stuck, asking us to meet new challenges with old tools. It seems like leaders aren't listening or are even ignoring the tightening pressures on our lives, perhaps just because some of them don't feel them like we do. So here's the invitation. If you're younger, don't give up. Your voice matters. Your leadership is needed in Path and in our county. We are not the leaders of tomorrow. We are the leaders now. And if you are an established leader in this community or a candidate, don't just ask us to show up when you need us for a photo op. Make room for us at the table. Share power with us. Rethink systems that no longer serve us. Prove to us that you see us and that you care about action in housing, in policy, in education, in job creation, and more. We stand here ready to collaborate with you and to contribute this work, but the time is now because we literally can't afford to wait any longer.
I'd like for everybody to sit in your seats, sit up, and listen well, please. My name is Sonia Watts, and I am a leader with NATE, Neighbors Advocating for Tenant Empowerment. NATE is a grassroots movement committed to dismantling housing injustice, empowering tenants to stand against discrimination, displacement, and abuse. Through advocacy and collective action, we work to protect tenants' rights and build communities where justice is not requested, but required. That is why we strongly support asking every candidate one simple question. How will you strengthen licensing, inspection, and enforcement systems for tenants and fund housing, improve zoning, and support more housing types as more price points? Because for tenants, this is not abstract policy, it is survival. Let me share two stories from our community, which are very dear to me. We have Tanya rented a home that had passed inspection and appeared compliant on paper. She paid for her security deposit and prepared to move in with her children. But when she arrived, she found mold, mice, feces, and serious maintenance problems. Faced with unsafe conditions, she made difficult decisions not to move her family in and lost her entire security deposit. Now, she does not have the funds for another deposit, and her family is not stably housed. If inspections had been proactive and enforcement consistent, that family could have been spared trauma and financial loss. Then there is Michelle, a grandmother raising grandchildren with disabilities while living on a subsidy. Maryland law requires 90 days notice for rent increases. Yet, she was asked to accept a rent increase just days before her lease expired. She is now fighting that illegal increase with NATE, and she is scared. There is why stronger enforcement matters. It protects working families, seniors, and people with disabilities, and households who rely on subsidy. It also protects responsible landlords and ensures tenants are not punished for speaking up. Everyone has a voice in Howard County. We must also address zoning and affordability. Updating zoning to align with Howard County by design allows more diverse housing options and inclusionary, affordable housing. And I say that again. Allows more diverse housing options and inclusionary, affordable housing. When housing supply increases, families have real choices and seniors can remain in their communities. Families like Tanya's and Michelle's should not have to fight this hard just to keep a safe place to live. The question is not whether Howard County can solve this problem.
The question is whether our leaders will choose to act. Because every family in this county deserves a safe and stable housing. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm very happy to be here. I feel very safe too. And I will read a testimony on behalf of a member of my parish. His name and some details have been changed to protect him. My name is Felix Rodriguez. I came to this country from Guatemala at the age of 16 with a dream to work hard and help my family. I have lived here for more than half my life. I started my own family here, built a business, and served in a ministry in my church. This country is my home. It has also caused me deep pain. A few years ago, I was at a gas station and a police officer heard me speaking in Spanish. He pointed a gun at me, threw me to the ground, and called ICE. I was detained and on the brink of deportation. I thought I would lose everything, my home, my business, and most painfully, my children. My children witnessed my arrest. One of them suffered psychological trauma that left him unable to speak for a time. My daughter needed psychological care for a long period. My wife was left alone, struggling to support our family while our world seemed to be collapsing. In my darkest moments, the only thing that sustained me was God, and I cried out to the Lord with all my heart, and He did not abandon me. After incredible difficulty, my wife found a lawyer who helped me be released. But in these times, my family and I live in constant insecurity and fear I could be detained again. And like us, there are thousands. Families who live with constant fear. Children who do not understand why their father doesn't come home. Mothers and wives who try to hold everything together in the midst of uncertainty. I believe in the law and public safety. I agree that those who commit crimes must face consequences. But I also believe that every person has dignity, and the government has a responsibility to act with fairness and compassion. Here in our county, I ask for courageous leadership. I ask that we work together to protect our communities without destroying our families. Because when a hardworking family is treated like criminals without reason, we all lose a little of our humanity. I still believe God is at work. I still believe we can be a country and a nation where security and compassion walk hand in hand. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. I am Jennifer Vining. I'm a part of Kittamuckundy Community Church. I am a school social worker, and I am a part of the Howard County Education Association. I love my job. I am so grateful to get to work with the families and the students and the caring, committed staff in HCPSS. The people are my absolute favorite part. But the sad truth is, the challenges for students and families have been growing for years, and the resources are just not keeping up. The story I'm about to share with you is just one of many. For 2 years, I have walked alongside a family of 4 with a mother who is a hero of resilience. She's kind and deeply committed to her kids as she navigates a disability and the challenges of the world to keep her children safe. I am tired of watching heroes drown. I do not want parents and families to need to rely on this level of resilience. I want all families in this county to be able to thrive, not just survive. We act like housing, utilities, food security, health, and mental health are not connected, like they're separate issues, but they are all connected. When this family's disability check was delayed, the dominoes fell fast. I watched heartbroken as a $2,000 utility bill led to a power shutoff in the dead of winter, which led to an eviction, causing this family of 4 to become homeless. Local shelters were full, so they had to move to Baltimore to find a floor to sleep on. Finally, while they were gone, their landlord disappeared all of their possessions. I felt the weight of coordinating 10 different providers just to find a bed for a child. Every step took hours and lots of creative solutions. My work is often an exhausting uphill battle against barriers that should not exist. But the hardest part was not the paperwork or the calls. It was watching a bright middle schooler disappear. What had been a little anxiety turned into debilitating school avoidance. We created a specialized education plan. The student is receiving home and hospital services and other supports. But this is still not enough for a child who has lost her bed, her belongings, and her sense of safety. Wait lists for mental health providers are months long. We could provide therapy at school, but she can't get to school. Youth cannot learn when they are in survival mode. As of February 2026, HCPSS has 679 students in transitional housing. That's what we call homeless students, which is a 9% increase from last year, and it changes daily. It is a haunting experience to tell a mother that the wealthiest county in Maryland simply has no room at the shelter and cannot meet her related needs. It took 5 school staff members, 3 case managers, and multiple community organizations to stabilize this one family. We are so happy and relieved that this family is in a new home and the kids are smiling again. We have a plan we hope will provide stability for the middle schooler, but this family is still one crisis away from the edge. Candidates. One family should not need a team of 10 professionals to survive a utility delay. We need a county that is deeply invested in affordable housing, accessible mental health, and a safety net that catches people before they fall. When you vote on a budget or advocate for legislation, will you remember this mother and her family? Because I certainly will. Thank you.
We want to thank everyone for your stories. And now I just want to remind everyone that PATH is political, but strictly nonpartisan. We do not endorse candidates. Additionally, the candidates speaking today speak only for themselves and not for PATH. We invited every registered candidate for Howard County Executive and the County Council to today's forum, and each candidate was told ahead of time which questions they would be asked in person today, as well as how much time they would have to respond to each question. And so we ask that candidates refrain from referring to other candidates, and as you respond, be mindful of the clock. Now, while we don't have time to discuss each area in depth with the candidates today, each candidate filled out a questionnaire covering all 6 issue areas. And so you'll be able to find them on the PATH website following our event this afternoon. PATH is known for identifying issues affecting people's day-to-day lives and then supporting specific, measurable solutions, whether that is number of homes, number of jobs, of people receiving quality care at home. We've asked the candidates to share specific, measurable solutions to the issues that we've identified, and we've also asked them not to give us vague generalities.
So here's what's going to happen next. For the county council candidates, we will ask them to each respond to 3 questions from the stage in this room. But before county executive candidates. But before that, we will hear from the county council candidates in district breakout rooms. So we will be getting everybody here into the right room, and we're going to do that sequentially, not everybody at once, so we'll do it in a nice order.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now we ask that you might direct your attention to the stage.
Well done. So I understand this room is full and has seating for 500 people, and we have a room outside that I just learned has, it's the overflow room, and there are 50 or 60 people in the overflow room. Just wanted to give you that piece of information. So we will now hear from our county executive candidates. We have Delegate Vanessa Atterbury, Mr. Bob Cockey, Council Member Deb Young, Council Member Liz Walsh. They're here on stage. We met with each candidate ahead of time. They were given specifics on which questions they will be asked, the amount of time to answer, and the speaking order, which was determined randomly. And just like the county council candidates, we are listening hard for specific, measurable solutions to the questions we are asking. And we have a nice person in the front row here who has sheets which she can hand out, hold up, which says 1 minute warning, 30-second warning. Red is when you're supposed to stop. Just to go over that. So, question 1, I think, Reverend Turner, you'll be doing question 1.
All right, first we're going to ask the county executive candidates to please stand so that you might greet our audience. You may take your seats. We're going to ask our county executives some questions, and we ask all of you to do 3 things. Number 1, refrain from referring to other candidates. Number 2, respond concretely and concisely. Number 3, conclude when your time is up. Here's the first question. What specific actions will you take to support immigrants in Howard County? We'll have, you know the order.
Let's check it out. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. It is so good to see you. My record as a council member demonstrates how much I value our immigrants and their contributions. I have shown this through my actions, not just words. I have supported every effort to protect our immigrants from ICE aggression. Our community looks to our elected officials to push back, and I answered that call. I have voted for Howard County sanctuary law, known as the Liberty Act. I have supported ending the contract to house ICE detainees in the county detention center, and I have voted for prohibiting private detention centers. And many of you were there sharing that experience with us. Our nonprofits and advocacy groups currently provide crucial support and resources to immigrants, and we can do more to help meet their needs. As county executive, I will create an Office of Immigrant Affairs in order to consolidate and expand our efforts. This office will provide cultural outreach, access to legal support and social services, and multilingual access to county resources and programming. The office will be composed of staff who represent the residents they serve and understand the day-to-day challenges of each immigrant community. Together, we will continue working to protect our immigrants from harassment and intimidation so they can live without fear. English language learners, I will also fund the public schools' efforts to expand instruction and academic access for multilingual students. Okay, time's up. Thank you.
And so our first candidate has given us and so when you come to the mic, give your name, and everyone, when you come up to the podium, please give your name before you respond to the question.
Deb Young. I am the council member, elected council member for Council District 4. And Council District 4, you all did so well. Great job.
Okay, now, candidates, we want to remind you that there is a woman on the first row. She is not an air traffic controller. She is giving you instructions about your time. When the red flag comes up, you stop.
Yes, absolutely. Good evening. I am Vanessa Atterbury, candidate for county executive, and I'm happy to be here with all of you this afternoon. I was born and raised here in Howard County, and I'm raising my 3 children here. So I've always known that the one thing that makes Howard County such a special place is its diversity, particularly the strength of our amazing immigrant population. But right now, Howard County is at a crossroads. Immigrant residents are under attack by the Trump administration, and we cannot stand by. We need to step up. I'm a lawyer, and I also represented Howard County in Annapolis as the delegate representing District 13 for 11 years, where I chaired the Ways and Means Committee. I've spent my entire career fighting for immigrants across Maryland, and that's why I helped pass the Dignity, Not Detention Act in Annapolis, so that counties have the ability to do things like blocking the proposed Elk Ridge ICE facility. As county executive, I will continue to protect our county's sanctuary status while finding additional legal pathways for us to challenge the Trump administration and ICE's attacks on Howard County residents. I will also invest in trusted community organizations that provide legal navigation, workforce support, and social services to immigrant families. Thank you.
Please hold your applause.
Bob Cockey, I'm not an elected official. I've been a small business person for over 40 years. I've lived almost my entire life in Howard County. I went to church at St. Barnabas in Forsyth Road, and I'm running because I think this party debate and what's going on nationally and locally, immigration is the topic, and being in the restaurant and hospitality business for all these years, I probably worked closer with immigrants than anybody here. So having said that, I've taken a lot of immigrants to immigration lawyers, and unfortunately, I was never successful at all, because a lot of the people that went with me that I tried to represent, they walked into this country. They were leaving a very desperate situation back home. They didn't want their kids to get caught up in the gangs, and that's why they took the journey to this country. This is the greatest country the world's ever known, and it was built by immigrants. And having said that, I'll do anything to support a pathway for these immigrants to get good jobs.
So instead of doing anything, tell us one thing.
One thing that I'll do to protect them, I'll make sure that private businesses don't make money housing people. I'm Bob Cockey, thank you.
Hold your applause.
My name is Liz Walsh. I'm the current council member from District 1, represent District 1. You can see what I will do as county executive by what I do already, and that is steadfastly act to protect our immigrant communities. Throughout my nearly 8 years in public service, in a first Trump administration, in a swing district against a popular incumbent, I ran on us becoming a sanctuary. My then representative on the council was the fourth vote needed to override a veto of this county's first sanctuary bill. He wouldn't do it. I could not live with that. In my first term, I introduced and got passed a local dignity not detention bill, ending our county's practice of incarcerating civil immigration detainees on ICE's behalf for profit. Trump's own Department of Homeland Security reported that we were violating basic ICE standards at our own county's jail. Although that bill was vetoed by our current county executive, he not long after ended the practice himself, shortly before dignity not detention became law statewide. In my re-election campaign, I was a fierce champion of the sanctuary reboot, now called Liberty Act, being challenged by referendum. And in my second term, most recently, I introduced and got passed a local expansion of the state's Maryland's Values Act. No ICE operations on county-owned property. County employees must report ICE activity. And the executive will provide guidance to both public servants and the general public to keep us all safe from ICE abuses. I am proudly endorsed in this race for county executive by CASA in Action and the Howard County Muslim Alliance.
So we will now get to question 2. Again, reminding you to spend at least some time talking about what you will do as county executive. So this is a complicated question.
Yes.
Because it has to do with housing, but two kinds. So the first part of the question is how you strengthen licensing, inspection, and enforcement systems for tenants. That's part one. The other one, the second one, which is connected, of course, is to fund, zone, and otherwise support more housing types at more price points. Again, 90 seconds to respond. The order will start with Councilwoman Liz Walsh.
More than 30% of us rent our homes. As county executive, I will continue to support and expand our Office of Consumer Protection's oversight of landlord-tenant relations. I will ensure our inspectors enforce habitability laws and that aid is available to those experience retaliation for making complaints. I will continue to testify and support, as I have for many years, the state's enactment of just cause tenant protections. And I will continue to advocate for local rental stabilization as I did during the pandemic shutdown and as I wished had advanced when later introduced on a more permanent basis by the current county executive. As to supply, as always, Maryland State Comptroller Brooke Learman has led on this issue, like just this past January when she presented here in Howard County with PATH some solutions on this topic. She pointed to the success of microsizing buildable lots, but there are others. We should upzone the vast empty parking lots that surround our commercial corridors, that is, build the activity centers envisioned in the latest general plan. We should fix the income threshold for affordability so that it makes sense, as is those starting out in our own public employ. School teachers, firefighters can't even qualify for those homes, would end up spending more than a third of their income on what we call affordability. And we should expand and enforce inclusionary zoning, as I did by successful amendment to the recent Columbia Gateway Master Plan, a material increase in percentage of affordability requirements in new construction. What we're doing now,
and
though...
time to close.
Thank you.
Thank you. And now Councilmember Deb Young.
As a council member, I have provided many years of constituent service to renters dealing with unscrupulous landlords, unfair housing practices, and escalating rents. I know how to connect residents with county resources so that they can keep a roof over their head. I have supported and will continue to support funding for the county's Office of Consumer Protection, which resolves landlord-tenant disputes and proposes stronger tenant protections. I have also supported funding for nonprofits that provide housing, utility assistance, and financial education. As county executive, I would dedicate time and resources to make sure that rental complaints are promptly addressed and that landlords and tenants know their rights and responsibilities. I voted to provide the Housing Commission with the right of first refusal, allowing the commission to buy at least 2 apartment buildings in the county. I have supported significant efforts to expand affordable housing with direct funding, tax breaks, and zoning changes. I would also invest, and will continue to do so as county executive. I would also invest more into the development of affordable homes for purchase. I would achieve this through rezoning and incentivizing missing middle housing and funding more assistance for first-time home buyers.
Thank you. And now, yes, Delegate Atterbury.
Thank you. Our county administration needs to take a proactive approach to enforcement and zoning to ensure that we are not just expanding housing options for tenants, but that we are ensuring that all residents are able to thrive in quality housing units. I have a long history as a state delegate in Annapolis supporting strong tenant protections, and as county executive, I will continue that record so that we can protect tenants, go after bad actors in the industry, and ultimately improve the quality of life for residents. The reality is that Howard County is at a crossroads and affordability continues to spiral out of control, led by extreme housing costs. The hard truth is that we haven't done nearly enough in this county to ensure that there is enough affordable and attainable housing. In Annapolis, I built a reputation on getting things done and being a fighter, and I will do the same here as county executive. I will expand funding for rental licensing and inspection so the county can move from a complaint-driven model to a proactive one. No tenant should have to choose between enduring unsafe conditions and risking retaliation by speaking up. As county executive, I will establish a coordinated tenancy office to ensure that all tenants have an advocate. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Cockey.
Thank you. Tanya's story that was brought up earlier is a good example. You can have all the laws and regulations. It's about enforcement. First of all, I hope she had a lawyer that sued the landlord, and I hope that the home inspector lost his license. But talking about affordable housing, what's happening is we've got too many people renting. The average rents in Howard County bounce between $2,200 to $2,500 a month for a two-unit facility. If they can afford to pay $2,500 a month rent, they can certainly afford a $2,500 mortgage. We're going to back into that. If you go to my website, Bob Cockey for HC, you will see the blueprints and examples of what I plan to build. These are 1,200 square foot facilities, and we're going to make affordable housing because all these minorities that are renters, that doesn't create any generational wealth. When you create generational wealth, people become homeowners, they get pride in home ownerships, the kids become part of the community, crime goes down, education goes up. Thank you.
Thank you.
We've come to the final question, and when you come to the podium, please give your name and then respond. You have 2 minutes to give your response. And when you give your response, please make sure that your response is specific, make sure that it is measurable, and make sure that it is timely. Here's the question. What are the 2 actions you will take in office that are most important for Howard County's future? Mr. Bob Cockey.
Thank you, Bob Cockey for County Executive. My main focus will be the accountability for the tax dollars that you pay. We've got kids in over 200 trailers. I don't think you pay these kind of taxes to have your kids in trailers. My other focus will be not only where the money is, but where it's going to be spent wisely. We need to direct money into the schools and health care, not libraries and other things. We need to support education, health care, and housing. It's that simple. You got to follow the money, and for the first time ever, Howard County has an independent inspector general. And my administration will help her do everything possible to make sure that there's 100% transparency in the tax dollars that you pay. So thank you for everything, and thank you for PATH, because I think PATH has been very important in following what Jim Rouse's vision was for Howard County, and I thank you for it.
Hold your applause, please.
I am still Liz Walsh. As county executive, first, I must be a last firewall against a second Trump administration more vicious, more aggressive, and more lawless even than the first. More than 22% of us are foreign born. All of us are human beings who belong here, who deserve to live here and love here in peace. We need an ICE hotline alongside a rapid response network right away. And we need partnership from local law enforcement. And I agree, we also need in-house outreach and resources, proactively engaging with the many languages, countries of origins, and religions among us that make us whole. And second, I must be a force of change within local government. We will be, from the very top down, rededicated to public service. The actual people who love here, who raise their kids here, grow old here, who love here, will matter most, all the time, to every single person in local government, starting with me. No more favors owed to corporate donors, no more favors owed to special interests, no more status quo, no more looking the other way. We will be forthright, accessible, and accountable. We will adhere to the law, and we will enforce the laws. We will serve the people.
It's time for our county to commit our resources to our residents' priorities. As county executive, my first order of business will be reversing the persistent underfunding of school construction, deferred maintenance, and staffing. Our school buildings are old and sometimes too small for the programs that the state requires us to provide. It is estimated that $194 million is needed to address the years of deferred maintenance. The longer we wait to fix these problems, the more costly they become. Every student and staff member deserves to attend a school that is safe and healthy. I will also prioritize school operating funds so that the county can maintain existing services and meet the blueprint requirements for low-income, special needs, and multilingual students, as well as pre-K expansion. Unfortunately, the state has shifted additional costs to the counties. Last year, we had to subsume $8 million in new costs. In 2 years, the school system has been forced to shed 336 positions. It's time to stop balancing our budget on the backs of our educators and students and make school funding a real priority. Comprehensive rezoning will be another priority for me. It is long overdue and is our best opportunity to implement our future housing goals. I played a leading role in reviewing our 10-year growth plan, HOCO by Design, as well as the Gateway Master Plan, to ensure we have a strong framework to grow and diversify our housing stock. These bold plans require county experience and foresight to implement to ensure we can foster thoughtful, intentional communities.
Thank you.
Oh, ran out of time again.
Thank you again, Vanessa Atterbury. And if I'm honored to serve as your next county executive, my priority is serving the people as Howard County. As a mother of 3, I understand the challenges that families face, and I will work to ensure our county remains a place where everyone is welcome and where everyone can thrive. We are at a crossroads. It has become too expensive to live here. Tackling affordability will be one of the first things I do as county executive. I will leverage the office to update zoning to meet and exceed the vision of HOCO by Design and push for zoning reforms so that we can expand housing options for all of our residents. As the daughter of a Howard County educator and the proud product of Howard County Public Schools graduating from Appleton High School, I am honored to have received the endorsement of our educators. And another one of my first priorities will be fully funding our school systems so that our students and our educators have what they need to be successful. Successful regardless of what zip code that you live in. I've spent my career fighting for school funding at the state level, securing $35 million for Howard County deferred maintenance, securing funding for our community schools like Lake Elkhorn and Harper's Choice, and securing funding for pre-K throughout the state of Maryland. As county executive, I will ensure that we raise funding for our schools so that we provide our schools with the best possible financing. Thank you to PATH for putting this forum together, and thank you all for attending.
Thank you very much. We're now going to have Reverend Derek Miller come with our call to action.
So I'm going to talk to you all briefly about two forms of commitment that we are inviting you to take tonight. The first invitation is vote. Vote in the primaries on Tuesday, June 23rd. And for you overachievers, vote early, June 11th through 18th. In the primary, registered Democrats choose which Democratic candidate will move forward to the general election. Registered Republicans vote on which Republican candidate will be on the ballot for the general election. And on the November ballot, there's usually one Democratic candidate and one Republican candidate and maybe a few unaffiliated candidates to choose from. For the next county executive election, and in 4 of the 5 county council races we've been learning about tonight, the primaries are very powerful because there are no Republican or independent candidates running. Barring a write-in campaign, the primary election will decide who will hold these positions. In the last midterm elections, only 27.3%, how much? Of eligible Howard County residents voted in the primaries. That's barely just 1 in 4 people who could vote actually doing it. 1 in 4. I don't know about you, and perhaps even especially more lately, I want a real democracy that is reflective of all of us. We need everyone here who can vote. Everyone here who can vote. In the lobby, as you'll leave, you'll see a table for voter registration and information on the primaries from the League of Women Voters, and we're glad they're here tonight. So I'm going to encourage you, if you're able, please stand if you're committed to vote in the primary election on June 23rd. Look around, everybody. Look at the people who've been interviewing you for a job. It's powerful. Yeah, give yourselves a round of applause. We've held some applause back. Clap for yourselves. So that's the first invitation, vote. Second, I want to invite you to take action with PATH. You're here. Now, they've given a preacher a microphone. So, in my tradition, there's a story of 2 builders. One built a house, the other built a house. The first one built a house on sand, and the second one built a house on rock. The same storm came for both of them. But there was only one building, one house that withstood the storm. Which one was it? The one on the rock. Because those who build a house on sand are like those who hear a lot of words but do nothing with those words. But those who build a house on rock are those who hear and do something about what they've heard. They take action. For 20 years, PATH has weathered storms because it's been built on more than inspiration. It's been built on organized people acting together. And now some new storms are rising, aren't they? But look around you. We are still here. people of many faiths, many traditions, many neighborhoods, many stories. We're here because we believe that our community deserves something stronger, something more just and inclusive, more courageous and accountable. And so I want to invite you to hold up this blue card that you received. Can you hold that up? Hold up that card, and let's look around. We're going to do some building tonight. Y'all ready to do some building tonight? We are going to build something, not by just hearing, and we've heard a lot of words tonight, and they've been good words. But we want to take words and put them into action, and this is how you can do that. I want to invite you to fill out this card. Mark your commitment. There's ways that you can make commitments to be with Path. Claim your part in this work. And even if you feel so moved, now that pastor with a mic, I got to ask for a donation, right? Right. So you can also use that QR code to fill out a donation as well. And once you fill that card out with whatever commitment you're prepared to give tonight, you can hand that card to an usher on your way out. Tonight is not a night for more words. I've had enough of that. Have you? I'm ready for action. Are you ready for action? The action doesn't just start with the people that we ask to take action, that we are interviewing for a job here tonight. The action starts with us. And so I want to invite you to take this card, fill it out, and may you tonight choose organized action over just thoughts and prayers and platitudes. Tonight we build something. We build something on rock that will stand in order to withstand the storms of injustice and the rising tides of evil, because we are built for this. And we can be built together for this. Amen? All right. Pastor Turner, over to you.
I want to thank everyone for coming. I want to thank all of our candidates. Let's give our candidates a round of applause for their presence and for their responses to the questions. We also want to ask the PATH committee to please stand so that you might be recognized and so that we might thank you for your service. All of our PATH committee members, thank you for making this day possible. We're now going to have our closing prayer. Let us pray. Our Creator, we thank you for bringing us together tonight in the spirit of community and civic responsibility. We thank you for the candidates who have offered themselves for service and for all who care about the future of Howard County. Bless these candidates with wisdom, integrity, and a commitment to serve the common good. Bless this election process, that it may be fair, peaceful, and guided by respect for one another. Help us to remember that our differences do not have to divide us, but they can strengthen us as we work together for the good of our county. Inspire us to participate in the democratic process and to encourage others to do the same. Bless Howard County, these candidates, our leaders, our families, and all who seek justice, opportunity, and peace is our prayer. In the name of our Creator we pray, and all said, amen. I want to thank you for helping us to finish on time.